Hi, this is Nick from the Ironbane team. In this video I'm going to show you how you can use the editor of the Ironbane game. First of all, before I start, please note that this editor is far from perfect. There will be plenty of bugs involved, but we are all working on getting them all solved. Should you find a bug which you can reproduce, please let us know either in the forum or on our GitHub issue tracker. Thanks a lot. Let's get started. First of all, you will notice that there is a nice Open Editor button in the top left corner of the screen. You can click it, then you will see a global enable switch. Once you enable this switch, you will no longer be able to move as a player. So whatever you press on the movement controls, it will not react. Instead, you can now use the mouse to navigate around. Simply click and drag to pan your camera. Click and hold the right mouse button to move around, and use the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. This allows you to get a great overview of where you are and what's going on. Then, let's start placing some models. Open the Model Placer tab, and in here you can enable the Enable Model Placer checkbox. Once you click on it, you'll see you will now be able to place models. Right now we have a blacksmith building selected, which will show up wherever we aim the mouse at. If I click, it will add the model. Even though it will add models when I click, you can still click and pan around in this mode, because it is made so it only adds models when you release the mouse button. So you can still pan and move around wherever you want. To change your model, just go into the menu here and select whatever you want. Let's add a house. There we go. Bam. Next, to rotate your models, use the Shift and the Alt key. When I'm holding Shift, you can see that I can rotate a model anywhere I want. Right now I'm rotating on the Y-axis. If you hold the Alt key, you can rotate on the Z-axis. And if you hold the Shift and the Alt key together, you can rotate on the X-axis. This allows you to rotate the model in basically any way you want. And then simply click when you're done. Next we have the MP transform mode checkbox. If you click this, then right now you will no longer be able to place models, but instead you can just alter the positions and the rotations of existing models in your scene. For example, this house, now we can click on it and it will show this nice box around it, which allows you to now move this house around by clicking on the arrow keys, on the arrows that are showing around it. Also note that in the top right corner there will be some information written about the tool you have currently enabled. I will go over these real quick. First of all, if you have the model selected, you can press the R key to switch to rotation mode. This is very similar to famous modeling packages of your choice, like 3ds Max or Blender. So you can rotate in all different axes. There we go. If you messed up or if you are not happy with whatever you have been doing to your model, you can just press Ctrl Z or Command Z on the Mac, and it will reset the object to its original position and rotation. There we go. The other options, such as ignore other models, these only work in the enable model placer mode. So if you have transform mode disabled, so if I would disable this mode, here we go. Now I'm back to placing models. you will see that if I am right next to the house, it will try to align the house right next to each other. If I would ignore other models, it will just go straight through them. It will try to place it on the terrain instead. On the other hand, if you just ignore the bounding box, it will try to place the model on whichever point the mouse hits the other model. This can be quite handy in some cases. The grid snap is used to position objects in a very precise way. This can be useful, for example, for placing smaller objects on tables or smaller decoration objects. Alright, let's move on to the Model Painter. Let's open a Model Painter tab. The Model Painter allows you to paint virtually any object with any tile or texture. For example, if you would be placing several houses next to each other, let's do that real quick actually. Let's go back, let's place a few houses next to each other. Bam, bam, and bam. There we go. Let's disable the Model Painter and go back to Model Painter. Right now, if we would enable the Model Painter modes, we can go inside of a house, for example, and notice that, hey, you know what, I don't like this wood here, I would like something else. So let's go to select tile and let's pick something we like. Oh, I like this bright wood, for example. Simply click on it to select it and then click on the floor, and it will change the floor of the model to your new tile. You can do this for any material on any 3D model. And let's go back. You'll also note that it didn't change for the other house models, so it's only on an individual basis. If you are unhappy with the changes you made, you can just enable the clear mode and again click on the object, and it will reset the house in its original form. I would like to point some maybe unobvious use cases for what I have shown so far. For example, you could do some pretty cool stuff with this. You can add, for example, a table. Let's add a table. Let's look for a table. Here's the table. And suppose you would like to place some items on this table. We can select the item horizontal, for example. There we go. Now you can see I'm adding a bow item on this table, which we can also rotate, by the way. Remember, by holding the Shift key any way you like. Also, in this case, we can disable the grid snap because it's obviously too crappy. There we go. We added 3 items. The bow item in this case is just a default texture that is being placed on this model, but we can now texture these. So if we go back, make sure you disable this. Go back to enable Model Painter. At the very top of the dialog here, you have an items category. You can select any item you want and paint the item mesh. There we go. We can add an axe here. We can add a sword on the other side of the table. There we go. This allows you to create some very cool stuff. Let's continue to entities. Entities are some special things in Ironbane. These include moving obstacles, toggleable obstacles, levers, teleports, signs, waypoints, trains, and lootable meshes. More coming later, check out the dev blog. In the meantime, these entities aren't really used in the global enable modes because of, let's call it, some technical limitations. So you should disable the global enable mode if you would like to place some entities, because all the entities, they will be placed at your player's position. not at, it doesn't use an editor form. Also, let's start with some moving obstacles. In this mode, I would suggest you go to the cheats menu here and enable fly mode. This allows you to better guess where the object will be placed. Let's add a moving obstacle here. You can select any mesh you want to use as an obstacle. For example, I would like a simple slope. Let's look for a simple slope. Let's add a block. That's great. And I would like to move it up and down like in any platformer. Default settings are fine. There we go. This one is moving very slowly. Okay, let's make it a bit more interesting. These variables allow you to change the speed and the distance of the objects. So, for example, if I would add 2 here, it will go, oh, these are one of the bugs I've been talking about before. So yeah, the input is sometimes captured by the input fields, super annoying. Anyway, let's try again. You can see now that the new object is moving twice as fast. If you want to change the distance, you can also do that. So let's go a bit higher and change this to 4. There we go. And now it will move 4 times the distance of the original model we placed. There are a lot of different options you can choose here, for example rotating and different kinds of movement forms. If you would like a different movement form, you're always free to suggest these on the forum or even make a pull request if you're a developer. That will tremendously help us. Next, we also have toggleable obstacles. These are basically the same as doors. So these objects are simplified moving obstacles, except they are triggered by levers. In the future, we will have other ways to trigger these, but for now, these can only be triggered by levers. So let's do that real quick to show you what it's about. I'm going to disable fly mode because it's more easy to another bug, excuse me, to place these. So let's go. Let's add a basic door. Let's look for a door. Where do you have a door? Tum tum tum. There is no door. How can there be no door? I was pretty sure there was a door, but I'm apparently very wrong, or I'm blind. Ah, there's a door. There we go. Great. Usually doors move on a horizontal way, but you can also, of course, select a vertical movement. Well, let's add it. Bam. There we go. We have a door now. It's a bit hard to see, but it has an ID of 4. So this door is identified by the number 4, basically. Now, to open this door, we're going to add a lever, and this lever is going to need this ID we just found out. So if we would add 4 here and add a lever, which currently doesn't work great. Okay, I need to redo this piece. There is a bug with levers at the moment. Terribly sorry for that. But usually it works. There will be a lever model here. Let me show it maybe real quick. The levers. Where are the levers? Here we go. So it's actually this lever which doesn't work currently, but if you move on the lever, it will make a small animation and the door will open. It's currently bugged in this release. Terribly sorry about that. Let's move on. Let's go to another entity. Next we have teleports. I hope these work. Always start with an exit first because you need to exit to the exit ID to make an entrance. Let's add an entrance. There we go. There is ID number 7. And if you want to add the entrance of the teleport, add the number of the exit first and add the entrance. It's that simple. There we go. We now have a teleport. If you walk into the teleport, it should hopefully teleport us to number 7. There we go. That's great. Next we have signs. Signs allows you to obviously make signs and put some helpful information on dangers or directions to a town or a city. It can be anything. For example, go there and just click add and it will make a sign. Go there. There we go. You can make normal signs, you can make huge signs, and you can also adjust the font size on these. Also note that if you want to make line breaks on, for example, huge signs, you can use the pipe key. It's this character, blah blah blah, line break. There we go. And now it should make line breaks on the sign. There we go. Next we have waypoints. Waypoints will be used by the vehicles such as zeppelins, which we have currently. It's very straightforward. Just click add to add on waypoints. And there we go. And if you are writing custom scripts, for example, for a zeppelin or a custom vehicle or anything else, they will also be used for NPCs in the future. You can reference these IDs directly in your script. So, for example, if you would like a certain NPC to patrol a set of waypoints, you can enter these different IDs and they will be used in the script. Next we have trains. Trains are currently only used for vehicles. So trains are the same concept as a moving obstacle, except they will follow waypoints. So in this case, if you would like to add a zeppelin, for example, we would have to enter here the name of the script. In this case it would be zeppelin, but this script in particular is already hard-coded to a few other waypoints. So again, this will need custom scripting always. I can't add one right here. Next we have lootable meshes. Lootable meshes is a bit complicated and out of scope for this session. Basically it allows you to set a list of items and spawn chances of these items, which can be placed in any object you like. For example, if you would like to have an item on a table and you would like it to become an actual lootable, like a lootable bag, for example, you can add an item here. There we go. Alright, let's go over to NPC Editor. NPC Editor allows you to place monsters in the world, but before we do all this, let's first talk about navigation, because NPCs can only walk around if they have the proper navigation. Let's move over to the Path Placer. The Path Placer is what I'm talking about with navigation. It's then the Path Placer will basically place waypoints all over the place in an automatic way, so there's not much for you to be done, fortunately. Simply first enable the Show Waypoints flag, and then press the Auto Scan mode. The Auto Scan mode will automatically scan the surroundings for you. One warning though, it is a bit laggy, but that's the price you pay for an automatic scanning. There we go. Once you click it, it will immediately start scanning, as you can see here. Just move around the place and it will automatically add waypoints for you, which is very cool. There's not much you need to be done. It also takes into account obstacles and everything. There we go. Once we have done that, we can disable the Path Placer and we can go back to NPC Editor. We can start adding monsters right now. Choose any monster you like. Bam. You don't need to enable it for adding NPCs. This enable is basically only for delete mode, and then just press add. There we go. There's our monster, which is currently following the waypoints we just placed. as you can see. If you want to delete waypoints, you have to enable the auto delete mode, and it will simply remove waypoints that are nearby the player. That's it. There's also a small nodes variant, which is very useful for indoor, where there's not much room to move. So let's go here, for example. As you can see here, there's not much room, so if I would enable the scan mode with the small nodes, it will add smaller variants of these nodes, as you can see here. Alright. Next, there is an allow elevation mode, which is basically used for mountainous areas or stairs. This stair, for example, is too small for NPCs to navigate, but maybe we can find a better example. I'll put it back first. I'm going to add an in real quick. Let's add in. Moving in has a great stair. There we go. There's our in. Let's go back to the path placer. Show the waypoints. Okay. And let's walk inside. Where's the entrance? Here's the entrance. Great. Now, for example, you can see here the stairs is a bit more wide, which is great for NPCs to navigate on. So let's enable small nodes and enable allow elevation, and also enable the auto scan mode. We better disable the speed. And once you move on the staircase right now, it will also take into account the elevation, as you can see here. It's automatically placing waypoints for you. There we go. There's a small artifact here, as you can see. I'm not sure what went wrong. Ah, there we go. It's alright. Alright, so that's it for the path placer mode. Let's continue to teleports. Teleport is very basic. It's just a teleport function for us devs to move around the place. Pretty straightforward. Just enter the target position coordinates, which you can also view here on the right if you have debug mode enabled. You can also teleport to other players by entering their names here. What's next? Let's go over the cheats real quick. You have fly mode, you saw that before. There's speed. Speed allows you to move super fast. There's god mode, pretty straightforward. Invisible monsters, 99 damage. Force day allows you to test the environment in night and day. This doesn't work for this level because this is hard-coded to use day mode. But if you would move to the world, let's move to the world. There we go. In this case, we can force night, as you can see. And we can also force day. We can even play around with the sun if you would like that. Like this. In this small little world, we can actually play around with the sun in any way we like. We can adjust the position of the sun. There we go. And what's then left? Option to restart server and player management, warn, gig ban, etc. I think we have gone over most of stuff except for one important thing: how to delete entities. I almost forgot. Let's go real quick for this last piece of information, then we're all set. To delete NPCs, currently, unfortunately, you need to enable the enable NPC editor and delete mode, and then simply click near an NPC. And you have to have global enable mode enabled. I forgot. And you can start deleting NPCs. We only had one rat, but believe me, it also works for other stuff. It also works for entities, very important. If you want to delete entities, like here, the signs, bam, bam, just click on the origin and it will delete it. Same for obstacles, etc., and all the other entities. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, feel free to ask here on YouTube or in the forum or GitHub or whatever, or if you want to send me an email, that is Nikke, that is Nikkke @ironbane.com. Thank you again and have a great time.